I've been seeing a lot of videos in the last 2 or 3 weeks featuring Dan McClellan and Alex O'Connor and others responding to this Cliff, I think it's pronounced Connectly, and other biblical apologists, or as my personal Lord and Savior, Mr. Deity, calls them, excusagists, on the topic of slavery in the Bible. These videos reminded me of my all-time favorite argument against biblical slavery by my other Lord and Savior, Matt Dillahunty. Roll the clip!
This is the way theists will think. There's a tap dance to make the Bible say whatever they need it to say. And when we had this debate at the Church of Christ and I brought up slavery, we went through this again. And I heard several different explanations from several different preachers. One of them said, well, this was the norm at the time, and God was implementing laws about slavery to soften slavery so that we would eventually realize that slavery was wrong and get rid of it. He's God! If he can tell you don't kill people and don't eat shrimp, certainly he can say don't own people as property. How hard was that? What kind of weak-ass tiny God do you believe in that he can't tell you to stop owning people?
Thinking about slavery in the Bible and the possibility of God instantly declaring slavery forbidden made me think further. Hold on. The Israelites were just freed from slavery and brought into their promised land. We're going to ignore the fact that the Israelites were never enslaved en masse in Egypt, the Exodus never happened, and that they did not wander in the desert for 40 years in the desert. Let's just go with the story as it's written. By my logic, the Israelites were just freed from slavery, meaning that up to this point, they haven't had the time to themselves become slave owners, having just been freed from slavery. So, if the Israelites had just been freed from slavery and as yet couldn't have become enslavers themselves, instead of God telling Moses in Exodus 21
that expressly tells you who to enslave, how to enslave them, that they're worth 6 shekels, that you have to let Jewish males go after 7 years. The women you get to keep. Have to go after 7 years unless you give them a wife and kids, and then you can trick them into being your slave forever. That it expressly says that these are your property that you can pass down, that you are to buy your slaves from the heathen around you.
And that you could beat your slaves to within an inch of their lives as long as they didn't die within a day or two. Why wouldn't God just say, hey, I just freed you guys from slavery and I will not suffer that my people turn around and become slave owners. Thou shalt not own humans as property. Period. And just like that, I, an atheist, am more moral than the so-called omniscient, omnipotent, omnibenevolent God of the Bible. Oh, and by the way, despite the fact that Jesus brought up slaves in his parables like constantly, he never, not even once, condemned the practice. Just saying.